Hi, Bewitches. Before Amy and I get into the episode, we want to take a moment to address the June 24th, 2022 Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. This decision stripped away the right to have a safe and legal abortion. Everyone should have the freedom to decide what's best for themselves and their families, including when it comes to ending a pregnancy. This decision has dire consequences for individual health and safety. It could even have harsh repercussions for other landmark decisions to come. Restricting access to comprehensive reproductive care, including abortion, threatens the health and independence of all Americans. If you're a fellow podcaster, please join the movement by visiting podvoices.help. If you're able to support in other ways, please consider donating to Planned Parenthood at weareplannedparenthood.org. That's weareplannedparenthood.org. Amy and I, and especially Dr. E, OBGYN, would greatly appreciate it. We encourage you to speak up, take care, and spread the word. A final thank you to Ariel Nissenblatt and her colleagues of the Earbuds Podcast Collective for starting this incredible movement. And enjoy this special episode with Dr. E, OBGYN, MPH, who will give us all a little bit more about what this landmark decision means for everyone. You can't abort the way we feel right now about things in this country. Content is explicit. You have been warned.
Welcome, you're listening to Bewitch Banter, and I have my bestie Krista here.
And I got my bestie Amy, and we have a very special return guest, Dr. Evangelista's here.
Evangelista Johnston.
Amy and I talked about this before Roe v. Wade came down, reversed. We're all just sitting here, three women shocked, not knowing what the fuck just happened, still in the aftermath. But for that reason, we have Dr. E here, who is a vagina doctor.
I am in fact a vagina doctor.
OBGYN sis.
When did you decide to become a vagina doctor?
That's a good question. I think in some ways I always knew I wanted to be one, but I didn't know exactly what it was. Always been about women being treated like, equals, not just vessels and all of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I found out that there was this specialty that does that for a living, I was just a magical fit.
Did you know before med school, or you figured that out during med school?
During med school.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah, we always joked, what if you become a vagina doctor? Ha ha ha. And what do you know? Sees them and smells them every day.
Every day.
You're better than I am. I can't do anything with the body. Like,
Same.
anything that smells. Like, I get grossed out. And if, people injure themselves, I can't do that either.
Oh, speaking of the Jingle Bells, just to recap for y'all who've never listened to our Jingle Bell All the Way story, you gotta listen to that. But there was a woman who stuck jingle bells up her puss, and they were there 6 months later, right?
We aren't exactly sure of the timing. I'll just say that it was, September, because I was an intern, so the beginning of my intern year, and there were jingle bells, so at least 6 months.
Did you tell a patient they should probably see a therapist?
Yeah, she was committed to
Okay.
the hospital after her surgery.
Good. Yeah, it's like, it can't really just be return to normal life. Like, you're good, right?
Oh my god. Gosh. Well, we thought Satanists were gonna save the day for abortion rights.
They still may. You never know.
Yeah? Is there hope, sis? What do you think?
Honestly, at this point, I don't know what to think. I'm still a little bit in shock, even though I have been screaming from the rooftops for, I don't even know how many years, many, many years that this is coming down the pike, and people haven't really been listening until it's here. And so now I'm glad that we have the attention of the entire world, but it's a little bit too late.
I feel like it's going to be like that with global warming, too, which is really scary.
Yeah, because that literally affects everybody. So I don't give a fuck who these people are paying off, whomever. Why would you not want a safe place to live? I don't know.
That's what I think. Like, nothing matters without the planet existing.
Right.
And they just, because everyone's been talking about Roe versus Wade, they just passed a law where companies are basically, they're about to pass where the companies basically can do whatever they want.
Oh, yeah. And also,
like the Hobby Lobby shit.
Well, also taxpayer money can go towards religiously funded institutions now. So all your money, even if you're not religious or Catholic or Christian or whatever, can go towards religious organizations without you knowing.
That's ridiculous. We need to start our own religion.
We do. Satanism. I thought we were joining.
Paganism.
Yeah, we still need to join.
Bewitched Banterism.
Yeah. We should, yeah.
Oh, Ella, are you down with that?
Another vocal woman.
Oh, she sure is, as well as Mila. Hold, please.
But
Mila is a cutie patootie, a very strong, independent woman.
Yeah, that bitch be crazy. And that's my daughter I'm talking about.
No, literally last night Vince goes, she's a fucking bitch.
I love her so much to all of those
and I was
people.
dying. I was like, oh, wasn't me.
Wow.
No, she is. She is in the best
way.
Bad bitch way ever. She's gonna save the world someday.
Fuck yeah, she is. Boss lady.
Opinionated.
She goes like stiff arms to them all the time.
That was my sister growing up, though.
Oh, look, she's killing it.
Yeah.
Look, yeah. Look at
Very
us.
bossy.
I mean, you and me, we're just like leftover young ones, you know? These motherfuckers. Okay, so I need a history lesson. Like, I think a lot of our listeners may. What's the background of Roe? Like, obviously, I know it's a landmark decision for women, and it was back then, but like, can you give us a summary of the case if you know it?
Yeah, so there was a woman who went by Jane Roe.
Oh, okay.
And Wade was the district attorney of Texas at the time.
Okay.
So that's where Roe v. Wade came from. She got pregnant, didn't want to be pregnant, and tried to have an abortion. And at that time, it wasn't legal.
In the 60s, right?
This was in the late 60s.
Okay.
The case was 1973 when this happened.
Okay.
But it took a lot of time to go through
Sure.
the court system. And essentially, a young attorney caught on to this case and essentially said, well, this is a private decision between a patient and their doctor.
Physician,
and on the basis of privacy, they were actually able to win that before viability. That the states did not have an interest in regulating this private decision between a woman and their physician.
What in the fuck happened?
Well, then the crazy Catholic religious folks, sorry for all those people out there who
Oh,
are.
we don't get those. We're good.
That's
Yeah,
true.
I don't
That's
think
true.
they're
They're
probably
probably not
listeners.
following you guys.
No.
But
No, not at all.
We discussed this many times.
in my opinion, what happened was there are people who truly are against abortion because of their Catholic or religious upbringing. The difference is that they feel so strongly that they have an interest in, they basically feel like the fetus, the unborn, is a life. And so they feel like it's murder, right? And so it's against...
Oh, I'm sorry, but you believe in capital punishment?
Yes.
And also, my mask, my body, my choice, fuck you?
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
It's all none of it makes sense.
None of it makes sense.
There's no rhyme or reason to any of this, but essentially over the since Roe v. Wade was decided in the 70s, 1973, there's been over 1,300 laws passed
to make it harder,
to make
right? To
abortion restrictions.
Yeah.
So there's now
the
limit abortion based off of various random non-evidence-based medical things. So like, for example, well, in Texas in last September, they passed this heartbeat ban, or SB 8, which is essentially banning all abortion, but it's using the private citizens to basically sue other people who aid and abet in,
i.e. you,
anybody that aids and abets. It could be the Uber driver, it could be your mom.
The Uber driver who doesn't even know you?
Yep. Right. Or know why you're going to a clinic? Fuck you.
Yep.
Yeah, Uber drivers just giving you a service to point A to point B. Yeah. They don't care where they're dropping you off.
Yeah.
Right.
That's ridiculous. Well, I mean, all of it's ridiculous.
Yeah. But yeah, and since Roe v. Wade came down, it's been a constant attack on abortion rights over the last however many years.
20 plus, yeah.
And this is the culmination of all of that effort. And so, I mean, we're here.
Well,
it's crazy.
I feel like the Republicans have been working. They like have the long game.
They do.
And I wish the Democrats would stop doing like the Michelle Obama quote, when they go low, we go high. I'm like, no, we just need to
fight the fuck.
I want to
fire
burn
with
it.
fire. Burn that shit down.
I want to burn it all down.
Like, we can get on their level at this point and have a better smear campaign that actually, like, The thing Trump did well is that he said stuff that like a fifth grader could understand. Mm-hmm. That's what the Democrats need to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, in my opinion, we have been, for lack of a better word, pussyfooting around for too long. You're right. Like we just needed to fight fire with fire, and everybody. It's such a controversial topic that we would always say. Like even Hillary Clinton at one of her big speeches said, "We want to make abortion safe, legal, and rare." And I think that even that.
Sorry, hold on, sis. Okay, sorry. Hillary.
Hillary Clinton's quote. Basically, they're trying to vilify and there's a lot of stigma around abortion, and there always has been, even within the pro-choice community. And I think we need to just start saying the word abortion, like abortion, abortion, abortion. Say it one more time for me.
Bomb on an airplane.
Abortion.
They do say when Democrats are in leadership, less abortions happen because they have more access to. It just doesn't make any sense, but people don't know that.
No, because they're taught that they're murdering people.
Yeah. Now it's just, I don't know.
It's a mess. So I'm gonna have, per my Dr. Evangelista's recommendation, I'm gonna just keep Nexplanon in my arm forever.
Yeah. So PSA, you can use your IUD, the hormonal one, for 7 years, and an implant, the ones that are in the U.S. For 5 years. So if anyone's listening, keep that shit as long as you possibly can. If you have the copper one, it likely lasts for a lifetime. So
it lasts for a lifetime?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's crazy.
I heard it hurts as fuck though.
I mean, but if you want to do it once,
I
guess you have to take it out if you want kids.
I mean, we're fucked now in Arizona, so sorry, Ames, you gotta keep doing this pray and pray.
The what?
The old pull out, spray and pray.
Yeah. That's been working for quite a while.
I don't know how. God bless. God bless.
Yeah, my doctor's like, well, do you care if you get pregnant? I was like, well, it's my husband, so it's whatever.
Like, if it happens.
Yeah, it's not a big deal. Well, I have a question. So I thought it'd be a good, if someone who's listening, which I'm assuming probably, unfortunately, most people who are listening are kind of like our echo chamber, but if someone who's listening who doesn't believe in pro-choice, what would you say to them to help them understand why everyone needs access to abortions? Like, what would you say to change their opinion? If they're willing to listen.
That's the hard part. Really, once you say the word abortion, people shut down. So it's really hard to get someone to even just listen. But I would say, come walk a day in my shoes and see what I see every single day. Walk a day in a woman's shoes who has no resources. And, there's no good or bad abortion. I think that's what I want people to hear. Mm-hmm. The reason that someone goes for an abortion doesn't matter. It's
their business.
It's no one else's business. If you don't want an abortion because you don't believe in it, then don't have one. But there's no reason that you should be putting your religious views on someone else. Mm-hmm. And I think if they could understand that, if I was trying to force my non-religious views on you, how would that make you feel?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the only common ground I've ever had with anybody, and tried to use the same idea of like, well, you are against wearing a mask because you don't want anyone to tell you what to do with your body. Think how a woman feels when they say you have to carry a pregnancy to term. Here's another statistic I like to throw out there. Childbirth is 14 times more likely chance of dying than an abortion. Just baseline.
14 times?
14 times. The maternal mortality rate is 14 in the U.S. is 14 times higher.
Why are the Democrats use this bullshit?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Because abortion, again, is so siloed and stigmatized and vilified, and it actually is the most common and the safest procedure that you can ever have. 1 in 4 women will have an abortion in their lifetime.
1 in 4?
1 in 4.
I didn't know it was so high.
Mm-hmm.
So what's considered an abortion, though? So, like, if you took an after pill, or, like, Plan B.
That's not an abortion.
That's not considered?
Mm-mm.
So, when would it be? My friend used to pop those like Skittles,
Me
by
too,
the way.
girl. Laura, what's up? You were with me at every Planned Parenthood trip with a certain someone I might have rekindled with last summer. Oops.
So, when would it be considered one?
So, an abortion technically is when you stop a pregnancy from continuing to term. So, if there's a live pregnancy, then you're stopping the growth of that pregnancy. The Plan B or an IUD that you can use for emergency contraception is preventative. So it prevents you from becoming pregnant.
Okay.
Good questions.
Should I do my next question?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
You have great ones.
Okay. So to make this more personal, can you tell us examples of when women had to resort to the choice of having an abortion to help people understand why someone may choose that option? For like people who are still trying to wrap their heads around why someone may need one, might not necessarily agree with pro-choice.
Oh man, I have lists and lists of stories. recently I saw a 10-year-old who was impregnated by her stepbrother, and so
Wow.
she was.
And wasn't he like 20?
He was only 13, but clearly.
Really?
Yeah.
My brain, I just assumed he was older.
No,
oh my
but
God,
I mean, people do some really
trauma.
disgusting things in this world, and that's
and that's not the kid's fault, obviously.
No.
It's the parents, but
no. But that's, I mean, one example is obviously rape or incest. Unfortunately, this person had both of those. There's just the everyday, what I call non-extraordinary abortion, though, which is the majority of them, which is that they're just not able to be parents at that time for various social reasons, financial reasons, trying to get ahead in life, you know, like promoting women being equal in this society and attaining education or going to a job that's going to get them promoted. That's a lot of the reasons that people come in to see us. They weren't planning, they were using contraception and it failed. People have all sorts of medical problems that they can't carry a pregnancy to term because they could die if they do. They have, you know, people come because they have fetal anomalies and they really wanted to be pregnant, and it's a really heartbreaking time for everybody that's involved. And so, I mean, and I think that's why it's hard to put these limitations based off of reason, because everybody has their own story. And you can't put one above the other. Like, no one's reason is better than someone else's.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of leads me to my next question. So if someone, and we might not know this yet, but let's say someone is told that their pregnancy could result in them dying. At this point, with Roe versus Wade being overturned, can they still get an abortion?
It depends on the state law, because some have full trigger bans, meaning as soon as Roe falls, like Missouri, for example, already, they had an immediate trigger ban, meaning that now it's already illegal in the state of Missouri to get an abortion, no matter what. And so those people will have to travel to get an abortion. Most of the people are coming, all the Midwest, literally every state that borders Illinois is.
You're Indiana, folks.
There's only one abortion clinic in that entire state.
I can't believe there was any, frankly.
Well, they have to. That's the way they kind of bend the rule. They had one.
Yeah. Oh. And I know there's two doctors that provide, three. One's an older dude who's about to retire, and I know the two other ferocious, amazing women who provide abortion in Indiana, and they're gonna.
She's a big deal in the.
They're gonna have to refer all their patients
in the
to
vagina
us
community.
now.
Everyone, just so you know.
PIMP here.
Literally, we're gonna be seeing. There's estimates that we're gonna see at least like a 30 to 40,000 patient increase in volume per year.
Yep.
So will your hospital be able to keep up with that?
No. And they're not getting any help.
Well, so we've been lobbying and really advocating at the hospital level, and our leadership is
old white dudes.
A bunch of old white dudes.
I'll say it.
Yes.
I'll say it for you.
They're trying, but their response to the decision that came out is really lame. They basically are afraid to use the word abortion. I wrote a whole lovely policy position statement for them with evidence-cited articles and facts and how this is going to increase maternal mortality, especially for Black and brown folks. It's going to increase the provider shortage that we already have because all the residents who are supposed to get trained in abortion and in OBGYN are now not, half the country can't get trained in it. And so I can't train everybody, right? Like, I already have a million people.
They need to pay. First of all, they need to pay you, and they need to get you more help.
Yeah, so we're increasing our services like a couple days a week, but we need more nursing staff. We need more medical assistants.
That's
we
crazy.
need another we need an OR system. Like, we need space. And
so the fallout, obviously, aside from an emotional, traumatic toll on women in general as a people, I mean, the fallout is huge. Economic, mental health, health in general, obviously, as you're talking about mortality.
Yep.
It's just so many logistics you don't even think about. Like, because you don't really think about the domino effect that someone's going to have to go to another state and that hospital's not going to be able to help all those people because they don't have all the infrastructure in place.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Like, I guess you don't really even think about it that way.
We've been thinking about it. Those of us in the space have been thinking about it, but it's been really hard to know what exactly is going to happen and to plan before it happens, because without that increase in patient volume, we can't really support infrastructure. And so now it's just going to be like complete pandemonium and chaos. And it's not just like one state. Like, if it was a one state ban, which has been, happening a lot. Like, we've already seen patients from Texas since last September. I've seen patients from all over the country because of the stupid laws that are already in place. And to be honest with you, Roe was like not really a reality for many people for a long time, because so many states have really restrictive laws in place already. So it's not going to change a ton in those places, but now it's like no abortions at all. And all of a sudden, like 26 states aren't going to have access to abortion.
They need what corporations need to do. Like, I know in Indiana, when Mike Pence did like the cake, like you didn't have to make cake for like gay people.
Oh yeah.
It wasn't Eli Lilly. Angie's List pulled out, I think.
Oh, good.
Well, I can't remember if it's Angie's List, but I feel like other companies should do that too. Like, start pulling out of places that are not going to support abortions.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's why it gets people to,
money.
politicians to change.
Money,
yeah.
And power, yeah. Well, that's the thing that bothers me the most about all of this, is that I don't think any of the politicians who are pro-life really actually care about the issue. They just want power.
And get reelected.
And they want to get reelected. And this is a lot
followers.
Of voters are very like single issue, and that this to them is the most important. And I think that's what Trump did. He played off of that. And he got 3 Supreme Court justices who he knew would let this happen. And I'm sorry, Susan Collins and Murkowski, fuck you. Sorry. The fact that you thought Brett Kavanaugh was not going to do this, I don't know if you followed all of the hearings and all of that.
Yes, that was insane. I was like, okay, there's how many people in this country, we can't find someone else who's qualified who's not a rapist? Come on.
Yep.
Like, what example does that set?
It was horrible.
I mean, look at Trump, for God's sakes. You know how many abortions that motherfucker made people give over the years?
Did you see that girl who retweeted at Doug Ducey?
No.
So Doug Ducey,
he's our former
our governor.
Oh, yeah, he's
not
governor.
former.
Why am I
Doug Ducey.
Ducey, right.
Yeah. So he put something about he was hopeful that Arizona will turn pro-life, and then she retweeted, "Well, that's funny. Your son made me take Plan B when we hooked up." But she's like, carry on, and it's gone like viral.
Get it, girl.
Yeah.
Oh, I got goosebumps for her.
Yeah.
Get it, girl. Fuck yeah, put that motherfucker on blast.
Well, here's the thing. What I think Democrats should do now is take advantage of this situation that has been created and say, okay, now we need to increase our social safety net. If you're pro-life, then as soon as that baby comes out, you need to support it.
But you know, Amy, a former educator, knows the fallout that they're not going to get fucking taken care of. Teachers are going to be expected. Curly's been preaching this too. My friend back east who teaches special needs children in Boston, she has to deal with all those mothers who cannot even take care of their own children because they're working or, have special needs that they can't accommodate. And now, it just, the whole system is so fucked. Like, and they're not going to put the infrastructure because they're assholes.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me where we're in a country where you're forced to have a kid and then pay thousands of dollars to have the kid. Then we're not going to help you out with like maternity leave.
Right.
Nope. No, none of it. To me, half the things those people who are so against abortion, I'm like, but you're not pro-life.
No. You're not. I think we need to reclaim the concept of pro-life. Like, being pro-life is about the person who actually exists. Like, yeah, I'm pro-life of the mother. Like,
absolutely.
That's what I'm pro-life for. You know what I mean? Like, and
that's good. That's a good campaign.
It is.
Well, and you'll send kids off to war in a heartbeat. I just don't understand any of it. I'm at a point of giving up trying to understand the other side. I feel like for a while you could, but now it's like, no, you're just evil.
I've tried. I've actually sat down and tried to have conversations with people, and in my training for advocacy, I've learned that you really are just trying to meet the middle folks. The people who are all the way over here, you're never going to convince them. But there's people who are on the fence. Those are the ones you're trying to reach and bring into your, coalition to change things. But yeah, the other people are not going to change their ways. Like I will never not be pro-choice, so I can see that.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the same time, at least I believe that my thought process has, science to back it up, whereas the other side has nothing.
Well, it's kind of like them airing the insurrection trials, because they said they're not trying to get the extreme QAnon people. They're trying to get the people who are on the fence to kind of come to the other side.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what. Yeah. I do have a question, which I honestly don't know the answer to. So when people say an abortion is transphobic, I don't understand that. How is it transphobic?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I keep seeing it online. That's transphobic. Do you
I've never heard of that one.
So that would be a pro-life argument then, wouldn't it?
I don't understand it.
I'm trying to think of the reasoning behind that.
Transphobic.
That abortion is transphobic?
Yeah.
It's kind of probably one of the same thing that a lot of people try to claim that abortion is black genocide. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but there's like huge posters in the South that say like abortion is killing off the black race, but they're basically twisting everything because
I'm sorry, because the people that are not getting the fucking services are primarily black and brown people, indigenous people.
I know.
Who then therefore have to have more black and brown babies of what you're trying to eradicate. So check your goddamn logic, people.
I've never even heard of that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's because a lot of, like when you look at statistics for who has abortions, overall, white women are the most populous, but also that's because they're the majority, right? So like proportionally, black and brown women have a higher proportion of the abortions. And that has direct ties to systemic poverty, right? So people... racism. And all of the things that are embedded in our society, but... that's the pro-life community, if that's a really polite way of calling them just motherfuckers. I'm so sick of like the news being like, we are trying to get both viewpoints and here's a pro-life activist. I'm like, no, you're a terrorist. That's what you are. You're literally
a terrorist. They terrorize you and your colleagues. Like it just...
They terrorize all of us. And here's another PSA as I'm going off.
Get it.
I found the answer for my question. I'll say it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I understand why everyone, and I appreciate the sentiment that, like, I'm really sorry that this happened to you, like, to me personally. I'm like, but this is happening to all of us. This is not a OBGYN, like, person who provides abortions that this is happening to. This is literally half of our population that is now told that we are worth nothing more than an empty vessel to procreate and for men's pleasure. That is not just about me. That's about everybody. We're not able to advance. We're not able to make decisions when it's the most private thing and sometimes most painful thing in our entire lives. Like that's everybody should be fired up about this. And I cannot for the life of me understand how any woman is pro-life. I really don't get it.
I don't either at all. So I did look up the transphobic thing, and I think it's because, I mean, this is just me reading the headline, but it said that Texans have, like, for example, in Texas, there's different laws, and it just says women. So if they're transgender and non-binary, that they might be more limited in their access to an abortion, I guess. I don't really completely understand it.
Sounds like they're trying to take...
But there's more laws, I guess, because in the law it says something about women. And so if you classify yourself as a male...
Then you can still get an abortion?
Then you can't, I think.
Well, nobody can get an abortion. They're trying to be all, like, they're trying to use the...
They're trying to use the...
What am I trying to say?
The rainbow community against them.
Yes. That's...
Which is disgusting.
Actually, in fact, if the law says a woman cannot get an abortion if they don't identify as a woman, but they have a uterus and they can get pregnant, then technically speaking, legally, they should be able to get an abortion.
Wait, I have to come. Hold on.
Okay, trans folks, you're female assigned at birth, but you identify as a male or non-binary.
Yeah.
But you have a uterus to get pregnant.
You can still get pregnant.
Okay,
and so, like, a lot of us now will say, instead of just saying women's rights, we'll say, it's a mouthful, but, like...
The LGBTQ.
No, but it's, like, people who can become pregnant, right?
Two-spirited.
You don't know spirited.
Which I looked up, and I do feel like it's about more indigenous folks.
Yeah.
So I feel like an asshole, because I saw Starbucks
it's okay to know better,
and I go... I did. I researched, and I was like, what the fuck is this? And why is there a number now in this? So I looked it up, and it's for those who identify as both male and female spirits, and I think mostly for indigenous folks. So I apologize. I was ignorant. There's a difference. I looked it up. I had a question. I looked it up, and I educated myself. I'm not bashing. Like, this is just fucking crazy. I don't know. Where are we? How did we get here? Like, what the fuck?
I've honestly been thinking about moving, no joke, like to a different country.
Yeah,
I was saying that. I was like, I need to renew my British passport.
Oh, yeah, you have an absolute.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah. It's scary. I just like, what's gonna happen next? I feel like the next few months are gonna be really scary.
Well, the opinion from Clarence Thomas made it very clear in this case that they're going after everything. Like,
yes.
There is no thing that is off the table. So contraception is on the table, gay marriage. What was the other thing? Butt sex, literally anal sex.
It could be illegal.
It could
Yes,
potentially be illegal. Well, I think they're meant like. But guess what is not on the docket? Interracial marriage. You know why? Because he's in one.
Yeah, I did see that. Like
that
the
motherfucker
irony.
is an interracial marriage.
What?
Yep.
To whom?
Ginny Thomas.
I don't
Some
know.
crazy ass white lady. She's a Karen. Like a
Well,
really...
he's the one who was getting the text, right? And from the insurrection, he's like an insider. How is he still on the court? I don't understand all this.
How is rapist Brett Kavanaugh on the court?
That's true.
What's happening? Are we? Is this a joke, guys?
It's Handmaid's Tale. We just don't have the uniform.
You're
No,
right.
we do not.
Fuck.
I was watching that the other day. I'm
I
like,
can't. It's too soon.
My only hope, and I have to have
Oh,
hope
good.
somewhere, is
I was gonna
that
ask about that. If you had hope.
Yeah.
barely, but I have to in order to keep moving forward. I feel lucky that I'm in a state that has affirmed the right and enshrined it into law for abortion access. And I'm happy and will welcome anybody with open arms. It's just the logistics of getting all these different patients to us. They need the money, they need the time, they need the resources. People sometimes have to stay for 2-3 days and like stay in a hotel and leave their kids behind, find childcare, take off time from work. Like, this isn't just like a fucking Burger King. Like, you show up and get a drive-through and then you go home. Like, no, it's a medical procedure while safe that takes time and planning, right? And my hope is, sorry, I got off a tangent.
No, this is good. This is good. We need
that
some.
This will energize the base for the midterm elections, because right now it's not looking good for Democrats. Let's be honest, it looks horrible. And I think that
I'm nervous.
Sorry.
I think a red wave is coming.
that's what everybody's saying and predicting, and it seems to be what history would say.
Oh, I actually have one more question too.
Go ahead, and then we'll wrap up on a positive.
Yeah.
Okay. So my one question is, we know you're pro-choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
But with like working in the field, how has it like strengthened or confirmed your belief that women need the right to choose? Like, I know you always believe that at your core.
Yeah.
But now having the life experience of giving or performing, I don't know how you would say it.
Yeah, performing
abortion.
Yeah.
Has it changed your view even more? Like, solidified your belief?
Yeah. I wanted to say that pregnancy is, well, for the most part, is a happy and joyful time. It is scary.
Sorry. I'm just thinking about how when you talk about all the bitches that are pregnant and love it.
I will not be one of those women.
I was the worst
nightmares
pregnant
about
lady.
it.
No, but for real, pregnancy is a scary time in a person's life. Like, your whole body changes, and even if you have the smoothest pregnancy and labor and delivery, it is life-changing to become a parent, and you should not go into that without the access and the resources to be a parent that will, welcome a child into this world so they can be successful and have a happy life. Like, it's really scary. And so seeing all of my patients bringing children into the world and having complications during their pregnancy and their delivery, and then going out into the world and really struggling, it has more and more affirmed my beliefs than it ever has. And then just seeing the crap situations that people are in and why they're there in the first place for an abortion.
Right. Yeah. Where's the root, right? Like, what? That's never addressed in any of our legislation. Like, why can we talk about, I'm sorry, like, people are fucked up. They're looking for ways out. Why do we have mass fucking shootings? It's like, it's the root, man. People are fucked up.
Yeah.
Give us some mental health care, too. Like, what they want is sick. They want us on their goddamn medications in their systems, pay these fucking corporations gazillions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's fucked.
Yeah, no, seeing...
How's there hope? I guess.
Let's on the...
How is there hope?
Yeah, is there hope? Or do you have hope?
I'm trying. I'm really trying to have hope, because without it, like, I don't know what else to do, honestly. That sounds really depressing, but it's true. My hope is that moving forward in the midterm elections, this will energize a lot of the base.
I hope so.
People to actually care and come out and vote, when 70 to 80% of people didn't want this to happen in this country. Like, you have to understand that this could potentially go badly for Republicans, and that's my only hope, is that we can codify a federal law, which will take an act of Congress literally to reverse this Supreme Court decision. So make it a federal law that every state has to have access to abortion.
But could they, like, for example, Indiana only has one.
Mm-hmm.
Could they ever examine that so there's more access to those people? Like, or they can't, or is that always going to be a workaround, you think?
As far as
like a mile radius, like, because in Indiana if you only have one, that's still
yeah.
hinders people. Like, some people probably don't have a car to travel to Indianapolis.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think if it were to be a federal law or legalized, I guess is the best way to say it, then the support needs to be there, the infrastructure to build new clinics and support people. But the only reason that there's only one or two clinics in all these really restrictive states is because they have to comply with these crazy ass laws that the width of the door, for example, has to meet a certain standard. They have to have a certain type of HVAC. They have to have like ridiculous, they're called trap laws, targeted restriction of abortion providers. And they make no sense. There's no logic or like medical evidence to back it up. It's just a way to make it more difficult to open a new clinic.
That's crazy. How do they even get that passed without like proof behind it? Because you think if you want a law to get passed, you have to have some like proof, like there's reasoning behind this.
You would think, huh?
You would think. It's really, really scary and surprising. Like, I've gone to a couple like testified before some of these folks, and logic is not there. They don't care about logic. Literally don't care. Like, I've gone with these like beautiful PowerPoints and, you know, all the lovely medical statistical facts. They don't give a shit about the statistics. All they care about is their own pocketbooks and their power.
And getting reelected.
Yep.
Great.
So anyways, I guess
there's a lot of
Sorry.
I mean, it is a sad topic. I mean, there's
It's still fresh. Like, right, this happened 2 days ago. Even though we were all anticipating it, it's like, whoa, this just happened.
Really
and so
happened.
I think we're all still digesting it a bit.
That's how I feel. I feel like the gravity of like what's happened hasn't really sunk in for me. Like, how it's going to impact so many people.
Yeah.
So it's hard to think just like, I don't know. We're like, it's so sad to just think we're fucked. And then makes me so sad with like the gun laws. Nothing's changing.
No.
Yeah.
It makes me feel hopeless. I'm like, you can't get rid of the AR-15. Like, one thing.
One thing.
Yeah.
No.
Here's what the Democrats need to fucking do. They need to educate their asses on gun laws and guns in general, and fucking fight fire again instead of being like pussies. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They are though.
Y'all are motherfucking pussies. You can't go toe to toe with someone if you've never even held a motherfucking gun, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, know what the fuck you're talking about. That's the problem.
Yeah.
They say no, but they don't know shit about it. The subject.
I'm not following you.
So like, so for example, actually Bill Maher made this point years ago when I used to watch him more religiously, but the Democrats are pussies, which he makes that point every time, and we all obviously do. But like, where like they would try to argue about guns with, let's say, NRA people, right?
Yeah.
But you can't talk to someone about it if you don't know how it even works.
Do
you know what I mean?
Educate themselves about it. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I think
that's
that
all I'm saying. I'm not saying go fucking buy one. I'm just saying like, do your research. Come correct with it, and like.
Well, I was thinking. I don't know why I was thinking about this, but I was like, it's so sad that it takes an elementary school shooting for all of us to be upset. We should be upset at like how numb we came to every other shooting. Like, it takes an elementary. Why weren't we more everyone upset just about every
Sandy
shooting?
Hook. Yeah, we literally grew up with a teacher that was one of her best friends growing up.
Yeah.
That was barricaded her kids in the classroom. And so like when that happened, I knew, I was like, fuck this country. We're fucked. Baby, you know, so I hate to be
but I'm just saying that every shooting, like, we're just so numb. Like, all the other shootings, no one was blinking an eye at, and we became.
You're right.
They've made us so numb. Like, we should be more upset about all of them.
Any of it, yeah.
Yeah, it shouldn't be just an elementary shooting. It should be any of them.
Any of them.
But we became so numb and desensitized, and everyone feels hopeless.
Yeah.
Because you just hear about it and you're like, oh, it's another one, which we shouldn't be like that.
Right.
That's how you become. That's the only way you can cope.
Right.
You know.
I mean, it's just like, I don't know, this is a weird thought too. I feel kind of embarrassed to admit this.
No,
but I was like, if I got shot at, if like, let's say we were at a club and you got shot, no one would be talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think that too.
Yeah.
Awful.
I mean, our immediate friends and family would care, but then
it'd be just a news headline
for like a blip of a second, and everyone would look at it and just think, "Oh, another shooting."
Yep.
It wouldn't be a talking point.
Nope.
And I was like, that's how.
That's dark, Ames. But
Sorry,
it's true.
I know.
It's real.
Sorry, I was thinking that the other day. I was like, that's really sad because I was at the gay club last night, and I was like, this would be, unfortunately, people target those places.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking that, but I was like, that's really dark.
Yeah, well, Paul's nightclub, in Florida, years back.
Well, we are in a dark place. We've been in a dark place in this country for a while. Like you always said, Chris, Trump was a symptom of a larger problem, not the cause of all of this.
I think education, because I remember when I was a teacher, I was like, there has to be consequences for how much we're not funding and supporting these teachers and setting up schools to fail.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I left teaching, because I just didn't feel like I was given the resources to even be a good teacher. I was set up to fail, and I'm like, there has to be consequences from this, and I feel like that's what we're facing a little bit.
Yeah.
And just like this, our whole life structure is not set up for support. So if like people can't have maternity leave, like you're putting people on a bad foot to start with, because like people are so stretched thin. I don't know. There's just so many things that need to be fixed, unfortunately.
I don't know what it's going to take. I'm hopeful that I guess the two things of hope that I have are that maybe the midterms will go differently. Maybe this will be the thing that swings
I hope so.
in the opposite direction than
people
everyone is expecting.
Vote.
Yeah, it doesn't vote, please.
Please.
And all of these motherfuckers who are controlling our life right now are going to die soon.
That's why I keep thinking.
Here's the hope. There's the silver lining.
And my kids and the kids that are a generation under us, I think, have a much different view on life than most of the people.
These extreme boomers need to go.
They got to go.
Our sweet boomers can stay.
Yeah.
Sweet boomers can stay.
Sweet boomers can stay.
You're allowed hugs.
Like our parents.
Yes,
but
exactly.
Extreme boomers gotta go.
Gotta go.
R.I.P.
Bye. No. That's the hope. That is it.
I know.
I mean,
I think that's when we'll start taking global warming seriously.
Yeah.
I kept thinking they were saying there was 5-1 Republicans who were dying from COVID. But it doesn't. So will that be reflected in the polls?
Maybe.
I mean, I'm trying to be hopeful here.
I love it.
It's called Darwinism, right? Like, you fucking idiots. If you don't wear a mask, then
and I was like, those
can't vote.
So those are the people who also don't believe in global warming. So I was kind of like,
truth.
That's true. All right. Preach.
Finding the silver lining.
There it is, ladies. Oh my gosh. Anything else you want to share out there before we wrap up with this silver lining of dead boomer?
Extreme dead boomers.
Oh, right. Excuse me.
Boomers.
The sweet ones can stay.
I don't know. Just to just try to think of have some empathy and think about other people and why they might want this service to begin with, and just do you. That's all I can say. Just do you. If you don't want an abortion, fine. Don't have one.
Then don't have one.
A gay marriage. If you don't agree with gay marriage, then just don't go attend a gay wedding.
That, and like, why do you care who's fucking who? Again, Karen, go get fucked. You need some dick or vagina. Go get it. Or other.
Or both.
And or other or both. Go fucking get it, Karen. You're missing out. I can tell you.
Yeah.
I can tell you from experience. Mind your business.
Mind your business. Just mind your business. Yeah, I have no other words of hope right now. Sorry, this is a really depressing
I think everyone's sad, though.
Yeah.
Guest appearance. But I'm not in a good headspace right now,
it's okay.
to be honest with you.
It's okay.
But
Thank
we'll
you for being here with us, despite how recent it is. But Ames and I were just talking about it, and you happened to be here.
Yeah.
Serendipitously.
Yes.
Oh, funny story. Here's another PSA. Child passports must be renewed every 5 years.
Every 5 years? Okay.
Every 5 years, not every 10 years.
And hence why Dr. E is in Phoenix.
Not in Cancun.
And not in Cancun.
I should have been in Mexico, and I was thinking about staying there, to be honest with you, because you know what? Mexico has better abortion laws than we do currently.
I know, isn't that crazy?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, sorry, that was my last question about
mass
international.
shootings.
Mm-hmm.
Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Way less.
What about the cartel? That doesn't count? Drug violence?
They don't do necessarily mass shootings. I think it's
that's true.
contained.
Much safer to be. They have way less. Isn't it like I can't remember the statistics.
Really? Let's move. Let's go. Rocky Point. Let's go. Let's buy a Ohana home.
I would love to live by the beach.
Let's go fucking do it.
I love their food.
There's where we're going. Fuck England. Love you, but
Yeah.
yeah, we're going to Mexico. Starting up the car, packing the cooler tonight. Let's go.
I think I'd go to Mexico too.
Yeah. Done.
Yeah.
All right.
So
well,
done.
that's what we're gonna do, folks.
That's a wrap.
Gotta get it packing.
Well, that's Dr. Evangelista. We got Justina my Bieber, and we got what's my name again? Cristalinda Bujero Smith Johnston.
Yeah. Isn't there Ratchet in there somewhere too?
Clatchit.
Oh, Clatchit.
Clatchit. Yep. Crystalina Clatchit Jones.
There it is.
There it is.
There it is.
On behalf of our LGBT plus QI2 spirited community, that's for you, and out of respect for drag culture, because y'all are unfortunately the next on the docket, I think, here. So,
I think they all know.
But we love you. We support you. We are with you as women who, again, are now just vessels. Yay! We're going to Mexico. Adios. Peace, bewitches.
Peace.
Adios.
Thanks for listening. Check us out on Instagram or bewitchbanter.com. Suggestions for the show? Emails at bewitchbanter@gmail.com. Credits: Music Phantom Fun by Jonathan Boyle from premiumbeat.com. Podcast edited and produced by Kristen Hinz and Amy Holt. As always, if you enjoyed, please rate, review, and subscribe.